Join me as we transform this amazing chapel into an amazing masterpiece. Good morning everybody, and today I'm trying to find this small chapel to take some black and white shots of it. We have like 300 chapels scattered all around the Maltese countryside, and they're basically around 300 to 500 years old. This chapel is situated between some trees. It's quite hard to find, but I think I found it, and I'll be showing you in a second now. Just give me a bit to turn the camera around. So this chapel, somewhere between these trees, there it is. It's coming in sight. And I'll be taking some shots with my Fujifilm X-T4 and a Viltrox 13mm, which is incredibly sharp. And if you guys are still struggling with your black and white photography editing, well, I'm going to show you my editing process for black and white photography. And my editing process is going to be a bit extreme. We'll be doing some masking, dodging and burning. I'm most probably doing a sky replacement, since here in Malta during the summer months we don't have any cloud coverage. And I'll be doing a sky replacement in Photoshop. An easy process, so don't scare away from Photoshop. And I'll show you how it's done. And I'm going to show you how to get this image into an amazing black and white image that is worthy to hang on your living room wall. I'm going to try and find the composition. I'm going to go from this side. I'm going to try and get a side shot like this with some trees here also. So stay with me guys through the end of the video, and I'll show you my editing process that will boost your skills to a much higher professional level. Well, I'll see you all back in the studio, everyone, and thank you for joining me here on this location to get a shot of this chapel. Thank you, and I'll see you later. Well, here we are in Adobe Camera Raw, and this is the image I captured. I thought this was the best composition for this image, and the first thing we'll be doing to this image, guys, is we'll be cropping it and straightening up a bit the chapel here. So we'll go over to the crop tool, but first I'm gonna just click on the A here for auto, for the geometry, to straighten out the chapel. I'm just gonna turn it just a bit. That should be okay. And next I'm gonna crop it just a bit, but first I'm gonna unlock the padlock here. I'm gonna remove these poking trees here, and I'm gonna remove this part of the building here also. I'm gonna keep the lamppost, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Next we're gonna head out of here, and I'm gonna use the remove tool, and we're gonna remove these power lines and the lamppost also, and even this lamppost here as well. So I'm going to head over to the remove tool, and I'll be using the remove tool here, and I'm going to start with the power lines and work my way down to cover the whole part of the lamppost. I'm going to head down to this power line as well, all the way down to here, Gonna go back up on the same path and remove the whole lamp bulb, and I'm gonna click remove, and there we have a much better, cleaner image. So the next thing, guys, I'm gonna head out of the remove tool. I'm gonna reduce the image size, and like always I'm gonna boost the color of the image. I'm gonna use the exposure panel first. I'm gonna reduce the highlights, increase the shadows, increase the whites just a touch, and reduce the blacks. And just check your histogram for clippings. And I'm going to reduce the exposure just a touch. Next, I'm going to head down to the effects panel, increase the texture, a touch of clarity, and a bit of dehaze. Down to the detail. I'm not going to use these new tools here. I'm just gonna do what I usually do, reduce the radius, increase the detail, and I'm gonna increase the sharpening to around 50. I'm gonna move the masking slider and hold down the Alt key on my keyboard, and I'm just gonna increase the sharpening on the white parts. I'm going to increase some more color by using the blue primary saturation, and I'm going to increase it to around 60. Like I said in the intro, while we were on location, I'll be replacing the sky here, and we'll be doing some dodging and burning, radial masks, and linear gradients also. So stay with me, guys. We're going to do some extreme editing on this image. And the next thing we're going to do, everyone, is I'm going to head down to the color, and I'm going to increase the vibrance just a bit more. To around there. I'm going to remove these clippings on the shadows or the blacks. Gonna try the blacks, and there we have a perfectly balanced histogram. Next, everyone, I'll be taking it over to Photoshop. Press open. Now here we are in Photoshop, everybody. I'm gonna duplicate the image by dragging it down to the plus sign here, and here we're gonna replace the sky ever so quickly. I'm going to head over to edit, and here head down to sky replacement, and this is the sky I'll be using. So that's the sky replacement done, everyone. Turned out to be quite a lovely image here. I'm just going to click OK. I'm not going to touch these sliders. And from here, I'm going to turn it into black and white, my usual method. So if all you subscribers know my method, just skip forward. And for all those who have been watching my videos for the first time, I'm going to show you how to turn it into one of the best black and white images and one of the best methods you can use. Just head down to the adjustments layer, click on black and white. I'm going to click on auto, and I'm going to close here, and just going to go back down to the adjustment layer, and here click on the gradient map. Don't leave your image how it is, just in by clicking on the black and white. Use the gradient map and you get a much better result. Okay, now click on this drop down window, click on classic, and there you have a much better black and white image. And I'll show you what I mean when I turn off this eyeball here. You're going to see the before and after if you'll just use the black and white and by using the gradient map. So that's the black and white without the gradient map. It's kind of flat, and when you use the gradient map on top of that one, you get a much better black and white image. And now we're going to flatten the image. I'm going to head back over to Camera Raw or Lightroom, whichever one you're using. I know some of you guys are going to say, oh, you cheated, you replaced the sky, it's not real and all this. Well, sometimes you have to do it, especially here when you have no cloud coverage. Because here in Malta, if you don't replace the sky, you're just going to have boring blue skies. And anyway, this is just for fun. So here I'm going to start by using the exposure panel again, and I'm going to increase a touch of shadows to around there to get some more detail in these trees or bushes here. And I'm going to reduce the highlights just a touch, and I'm going to increase the exposure just a bit as well to around there. And here we're going to start off with the masking. I'm going to head over to masking, and we're going to start off with a linear gradient. This is the first mask I always use, and I'm going to place it over the sky. I'm going to cover the top part of the chapel here, but don't worry, we're just going to click on these three dots here, and we're going to intersect mask and select sky. And it's going to remove the mask from the top part of the chapel. And there we have it. And here I'm going to reduce the exposure to about there. And again, I'm going to use another linear gradient. You can use as much linear gradients as you wish. And I'm going to place it just over the very top part of the sky and reduce the exposure as well to around there. Next, I'm going to use another linear gradient, and we're going to use it for the foreground. And our aim, guys, is to draw the viewer's eye to the main subject, which is the chapel. And I'm going to place it over the foreground there and reduce the exposure. There we have it. I'm going to use one more linear gradient for the foreground also. It always depends on your image. And I'm going to hold down the up arrow to get a straight linear gradient. But I'm not going to pull it up as far as the first one. And I'm going to reduce the exposure to around there. So the next thing we're going to do, everyone, like I had on the thumbnail, I'm going to start using some radial mask. I'm going to click create new mask and head down to the radial gradient. And here I'm going to place it in front of the steps on these stone slabs here. Somewhere there. And I'm going to increase the exposure to around there. I'm going to use another linear gradient. I'm going to place it over this tree here. And again, I'm going to increase the exposure. And I'm going to increase a touch of shadows. I'm going to open it up a bit more. And there we have it. I'm going to use another radial gradient. And here we're giving some depth and life to the image by using these radial gradients. I'm going to increase the exposure as well. And a touch of shadow. I'm going to open it up a bit. I'm going to reduce the exposure a bit. I'm going to reduce the shadows just a touch to around there. And this was a sunrise shot, and we had the sun on the left side here, somewhere around here, out of the picture. I never shoot my images straight into the sun. And here I'm going to use another radial gradient, and I'm going to place it over the road here, this narrow road. To somewhere there. I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to open it up a bit more, because this is where we had the sun, the direction of the light of the sun. Should be okay. I'm going to use one more radial gradient, and I'm going to place it over the door here. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to increase the shadows just a touch and a bit of exposure. Gonna close it a bit. Should be okay. And next, from here, I'm gonna use a brush, and we'll be doing some dodging and burning. And even by using the radial gradients and the linear gradients, you're practically doing dodging and burning also. And here I'm gonna go over this boundary wall here, but first I'm going to increase a touch of exposure to around there. You can always dial it back down if you see it's too much. And I'm going to increase a bit of whites, and I'm going to mask away on this boundary wall. I'm going to reduce a bit of exposure to about there. And the next thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to use another radial gradient, brush, and I'm going to go over here also, and I'm going to increase a bit of shadows and a touch of whites. Just subtle movements, that's all. That should be okay. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to use another brush, and I'm going to do some dodging and burning on the chapel also. I'm going to start off with the exposure. I'm going to increase the whites, and I'm going to go over where the sun was shining. Somewhere there. I'm going to increase a bit more exposure. Should be okay. And next I'm going to use another brush. Always have patience while doing your editing, and you'll find out you get a much better black and white image. I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to do some dodging and burning on the facade of the chapel, the front part of the chapel. I'm going to go over here, just where you think you should brighten up the image. I'm going to use another brush. No, wait, I'm going to decrease the brush. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to do the same for here as well. Should be okay. I'm going to do these top part of the stone roof here and here also, and I'm going to increase the exposure a bit more. Should be okay. I'm going to use a brush to remove where I spilled onto the sky. That should be okay. And here I'm going to use another brush and I'm going to do some burning. Going to decrease the exposure and increase the brush size, and just go over the parts where you think it should be darker. I'm gonna decrease it a bit more and check it out. Now it's a bit too much. Just dial it up again to around there, and that should be okay. So the next thing I'm gonna use, guys, I'm gonna use a luminance range, and I'm gonna click on these brighter parts of the sky somewhere here. And here I'm gonna increase the whites and I'm gonna increase a touch of exposure. Always check your histogram. I'm gonna reduce the whites, and that should give us a much better sky. So the next thing I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to use a radial mask, and I'm going to place it approximately where the sun was, and it was around here. And I'm going to tilt it. I'm going to increase it. I'm going to open it up, and here I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to head down to the dehaze and reduce the dehaze so we get that glowing look. Should be okay. We have some clippings here, don't worry. I'm going to head out of the masking, and I'm going to reduce by hovering your mouse cursor over the clipping. You will see which clipping you have, and I'm going to reduce the highlights to around there. So the next thing I'm going to do, everyone, we're soon ready. I'm going to go back to the masking. I'm going to use another radial gradient, and I'm going to place it where the first radial gradient was, and I'm going to create, I'm sure you guessed, a vignette. Invert it, the mask, and reduce the exposure to about there. I'm going to head out of the masking. The next thing I'm going to show you guys, I'll be heading out of camera raw, and I'm going to create an autumn effect, but I'll be using Photoshop for that. So I'm going to click OK, and we're going to give the image that dreamy look by using the autumn effect. And there we just saw the before and after, and here I'm going to duplicate the image, and I'm going to head over to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to increase it or decrease it to around 31, and I'm going to click OK. And there's our autumn effect, but it's not ready. So from here, just head over to image. This is one of the best methods for using the autumn effect. What people usually do, they just reduce the opacity here and reduce the slider to around there, but like this you'll be doing the autumn effect on the entire image. So what I do is I go over to image, go on adjustments, click on brightness contrast, and here just increase the brightness to around 30 and increase the contrast all the way up to around 94, in the 90s. Click OK, and now we're going to reduce the opacity, and we're going to reduce it down to around 10 or 13. I think I prefer it to around 20. I'm going to check the before and after, and there we have a dreamy looking image. I kind of like it like that. I'm going to try and reduce it just a bit more, and I'll see the difference before and after, but I think I'm going to increase it back to around 20 because I like that dreamy effect. So here is our final image, everybody. I hope you like it. I think it's a fantastic image. I'm going to flatten the image, and here I'm going to reduce the size of the image, step away a bit and check it out. I'm going to increase it, and I think we have a perfect black and white image. So that's our extreme editing, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, share the video, and leave any comments below, and I'll make sure to answer them. Well, thank you everyone once again, and happy editing, and check out my other videos. Thank you, and I'll see you later.